Good morning, everyone. Good evening and good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is nikymus, and you are welcome to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking empaths free. If you are new, on this channel I talk about narcissism and narcissistic abuse, I talk about spirituality, and I talk about personal and self-development. And if any other stuff resonates with you, I invite you guys to join us. Give us a like, share this video with your friends, and you may subscribe if you haven't already. And for those that have always been with us, you are welcome back, and I thank you for your love and support. So I've been thinking about the subject, guys, about letting go. And this subject has been also inspired by my personal journey, because at the end of the day, I noticed that for me to evolve to the next level, I had to let a lot of things go. So basically, by letting go, I want to talk about so many things. So because letting go includes so many different kinds of things. You're letting go of people, you're letting go of friends, you're letting go of people's expectations, and you're also letting go of the older version of you. So sometimes you can find people who are stuck. You may be somebody out there. I will start with the point of narcissism. So for example, usually I've always talked about narcissism. You guys already know that. I've always talked about narcissism. And one of the hardest thing I had to let go in my entire life, for as long as I remember, one of the hardest thing I had to learn the hard way was letting go of the narcissist. It took me a while, it took me a couple of months, it took me a while for me to figure out that actually the individual I was involved with was a very toxic individual. Yes, I was still stuck in those kind of things. So like I've told you guys, sometimes I was even hoovered for once. But at the end of this entanglement, I realized that actually the more I was hanging on to this kind of relationship, this entanglement, the more I was holding on to this, is the more I was continuing to get stuck in some kind of a cycle. And for some reason, I was always very desperate to jump out of that cycle. So you may be a lot of guys out there and you are involved in very toxic situations. It can be your relationship partner, it can be your marriage, it can be your best friend, it can be your family, it can even sometimes be something as simple as your workplace, and you are struggling to let that thing go. Because remember, guys, your intuition is always going to speak to you. So your intuition speaks to you through something what they call the gut feeling. You're going to get stuck in some kind of a system, and then somewhere you're going to feel there's something like at the lower part of the abdomen. You're going to feel a specific pain. Something is like very not comfortable. You know what I mean? So whenever you are in a toxic situation, you also realize that actually in that situation you are stuck. Yes, the ego is making you stuck in that situation, but on the other hand, you are desperately fighting and struggling to get out of that. So I always want to use the term of jumping out of the box. You know what I mean? So it may be used to toxic situations. This could be things that are involved with the family cycle, things that are happening in your own families. You are actually fighting with the decision you have got to get out of the box. Maybe your families, they're driving you the wrong way, they're taking you the wrong direction, or even sometimes you can be involved with a toxic partner, a toxic friend, and those individuals, whenever you get involved with them, you notice that actually you are moving and you are fast forward, you're moving towards the wrong direction. And then you're looking at yourself in a couple of years and you're thinking that actually if you keep on hanging on in that same situation, in that toxic environment, you're looking at yourself in a couple of years and you're believing that you're not going to attain a certain amount of growth, a certain degree of growth, and it brings you into that point whereby you're now going to start to become anxious and very nervous about that situation. And you will very desperately want to find a solution and to get out of that box. So listen up, chosen ones. There is many cases whereby you're going to find a situation. Now, I can also give you another example. So sometimes you can find a situation whereby you're finding a hard time to let go of even something as simple as society expectations. You may be a person who is a public figure, maybe a person who is popular or famous or things like that. And you believe, as long as you get out of your house, the very moment you step out of your house, you want to get out of your house looking in a different way, because when you believe if you dress in a certain kind of a way, other people out there are going to accept you just because you dressed in that kind of way. You may be a person who is influential. You may be doing things online, and then you think, okay, so if you don't get a specific amount of followers or people who are watching you or people who are following you, so it is a way of actually expecting some kind of a validation from the people who are following you online. The chosen ones have mastered the art of letting go. Because the chosen ones, the first thing what a chosen one will realize is that the chosen ones, they have got the power to release whatever it is that is holding them back. If you know a chosen one personally, individually, even if you know a chosen one online, you are going to follow up on their story, and at some point they had a turning point whereby they made a decision and they decided that they are going to let something go. It could have been, like I've seen most of the chosen ones, they have usually been involved in so many toxic situations, especially families and relationships and things like that. The chosen one, the very moment they awaken, you snap, you are going to start extracting yourself out of the box. You are going to notice that actually the environment you are in is not healthy for your mental well-being, and you are going to decide that it is time to put a stop to it. So the chosen one, most of the cases, what they do, they are going to start extracting themselves out of that situation and jump out of the box. And of course, I don't say that when you decide to take that kind of a decision, I never have said that it's going to be an easy journey, because most of the times when you're extracting yourself from people, you're going to face a lot of resistance. People will hate you, people will discriminate you, people will shout at you, people will put all kinds of names to you, because you're deciding that you want better for yourself. You are deciding that you're going to take your power in your own hands. Because by getting out of the box and by jumping out of the box, you're also taking power in your hands. Because at the end of the day, you realize that actually for a long period of time, you have been giving people the power to control your life towards a certain direction. But now you realize that actually that direction that they are going, there may be a big amount of people. This can be a huge crowd of people moving towards the left. But then you know that actually at the end of that journey, everything is going to end up in destruction. And the chosen one, what they do, they say, I am stopping, they are stopping wherever they are, and they are getting out of the box. They're jumping off the bus. And then they take a decision to move left, whereby everybody is going right. So letting go is also letting go of, letting go also means letting go of people, places, things, habits, letting go of society expectations, and letting go of everything that is holding you back. It is a very hard thing to let go. But the very moment you let go, you're going to realize that actually now you are able to think for yourself. You are able to start doing things for yourself and to make your own decisions and to make your own judgments without anybody from the outside having to validate your moves and having to validate your decisions. Everything that you're doing at that point, you can now validate yourself because you understand you are alone enough. You alone are enough, and you alone can make an important decision towards the right direction. And most of the individuals that have mastered this art of letting go, they have started making their own moves, getting out of the box and jumping out of the box and starting their own journey in a much more different way, and of course, a much more healthy way. So on this channel, over and over, I've spoken with people who are trapped in their families. You know what I mean? They are trapped in their family cycles. You know, they are being abused, they are being tortured, they are being discriminated, they are being hated, all these kind of toxic things and toxic behaviors. A lot of people are suffering just because they are stuck in something as simple as a family. Now you can imagine you have been with a family for all your life, your entire life. But that family, for as long as you've known them, they have been mistreating you. They've been torturing you. They've been doing all these kind of things to you. But at the same time, you're thinking that when you let them go, because the art of letting go is tricky. Actually, it's very funny. Because some people think when you let something go, it is going to expose you to all kinds of dangers. Now you're going to start to think, for example, you might have been involved with the family and you're thinking, your own family, toxic family, and now you're thinking, if I let my family go, what direction am I going to take? Who is going to support me? Now it looks as if you're going to be by yourself without a support system. But chosen ones, I want to guarantee you something. The very moment you take a decision to let something go is the very moment you're going to allow God to take charge of your life. And believe me, if you're a person who is a believer and you believe in God, that God that you believe in is going to move you to the right direction. Yes, in the beginning of the journey is going to seem extremely shaky. It's going to be very scary because, like I've already given you guys examples of the things that I had to let go. It is going to be shaky. It is going to be frightening. It is going to be scaring. But I can guarantee you, when you stick onto the purpose and the decision to let something go, you are going to notice you are now creating for yourself better opportunities and more chances for yourself to evolve on a much more spiritual level and jump out of the box and think independently as a sovereign being. So when you see a lot of these chosen ones, this may not necessarily be chosen ones, but this may be people who are trying to think independently as sovereign beings. The very moment you decide to think as an independent being and stop giving people your power, and you stop allowing people to think for you and make decisions for you, the very moment you take that decision in your hands and you take the power back in your hands, because by letting go, I also mean you are taking power back in your hands and you're understanding you can make your own decisions and make your own judgments according to your will. And you're taking that power from a lot of people. You're taking that power from the people who have always manipulated you and used you, abused you, gaslighted you, and all these kind of things. You're taking the power from them and you're telling them, yes, you may not have to speak to them directly, but they are going to get the message very loud and clear that this particular individual wants to be free. So by making that kind of a decision and taking that journey, you're going to face a lot of challenges. You're going to get frustrated. It's going to be hard in the beginning. So don't be there and think that you're supposed to give or sacrifice your entire life to stay in a certain condition that is destroying you as an individual. You cannot stay in a situation that you do not like, that you do not appreciate, and you do not want whatsoever. You decide to stay in a certain situation because you're afraid of the aftermath. There's always going to be an aftermath. Yes, there's always consequences. But when you decide to start taking back your power from the people who are destroying you, now I'm talking about these individuals who are stuck in so many different kinds of situations. Even if you're online, even if you're a person who is doing things online and you're thinking about, oh, if I do something, if I put myself out there, if I go out there and I start to speak, who is going to judge me? Who is going to say this? Who is going to say that? As an influencer, I've got those kind of comments before. In my early days of the journey, there's people used to come around and they used to write all kinds of comments, whatever they wanted to write on them. But me, I would detect that these are haters. I would detect that these are people who cannot think for themselves. And because now somebody is starting to think for themselves, they do not like that kind of move. So they will come around on your social media page and they will give you bad comments. They will give you criticism and all these kind of things. You have got to know, guys, always in the journey, in the beginning, is always shaky. It's always very, very extremely frightening. It looks as if you don't know where you're going because why? You have been used to a certain system, but now at that point, you are deciding to get out of the system. Nobody may want to use the word the matrix. So it's like you're getting out of the matrix. You're unplugging yourself out of the matrix. And you're starting to think for yourself. You have got to embrace the journey day by day. Guys, you have got to understand, I will never tell you something that I do not know. You have got to know, as a person to evolve and to grow on a much more spiritual level, the very first thing you have got to let go is society's expectations, criticism, expectation of validation and things like that. And also you have got to let go of a lot of people, toxic individuals and people that are not supposed to be a part of you. Those people may have been glued to you for some reason. They may have been giving you some benefits. They may have been feeding you. They may have been housing you. They may even have been giving you some kind of financial benefits or things like that. So that's the reason why most of those individuals, the toxic individuals I mean, they get glued to people just because they use these individuals as their own properties. They take you as their own property. Your own family will make you their own properties. You guys have always heard me talking about the black sheep. You are the property of that family. As long as you do not know that you're a black sheep, but when you find out that actually you have been always the black sheep for your entire life, that is the moment you're going to decide that actually that's the moment you're going to decide it is enough. You will awaken, you'll open your eyes, you'll pick up your bags. You don't have to look where you're going. Guys, I've always mentioned it. You do not have to see where you're going. The decision to get out of the toxic situations, it speaks to you through intuition. Your gut feeling is going to tell you that whatever it is, whatever situation you're involved in, involved with, it is time to get out of that box. You're going to face the hate. You're going to be criticized. You're going to be called all kinds of names. You're going to be called the weird one, because normally when a person takes a decision to get out of a toxic situation, maybe a family unit or a marriage or relationship, a lot of people are going to come your way and they're going to call you crazy. They're going to call you names. They're going to call you stupid. All kinds of critique is going to come from left and right. But as a chosen one, you're a sovereign being. You do not let a situation hold you back. Now you might even try to think. You may try to think it. Let us put it this way. You want to start up a business, but at the same time you're tied to somebody who doesn't want you to start that business. Whatever you think about it, you tell them that you're going to do a certain course. You're going to pursue maybe a degree, a diploma, or things like that, because you want to get some knowledge about a certain business. Those individuals, they are going to always put you down. Do you know the reason why? They are putting you down because they believe at some point in time later on, if you discover who you are, most of those cases, those individuals, they are hiding you from your authenticity. They are hiding you from the person you really are. So they think for you, they support you, they pretend they are supporting you, but on the other hand, they are actually destroying you. So they are not really supporting you, they are destroying you. And everything you're going to attempt to do, whatever it is you want to do, a business, to start up a shop, to start up a forum, to start up a platform, or anything like that, those individuals that are going to let you down. When I was starting this channel, I had a very big problem to take off. Because in that time, there was a narcissist around. So the narcissist, sometimes you want to make a video, you have an idea, sometimes you have a burning idea you want to talk about, you want to address online. The narcissists, they will create all kinds of drama in that situation. And then they'll tell you, oh, you know what, you don't need to do that because we have a program to go here, we have a program to go there. You are always going to meet a lot of distractions. It was very hard for me to take off in the beginning. But the very moment I decided that, okay, so these are the toxic individuals that have been blocking me, when I noticed it, you see, the biggest thing that can ever happen to somebody is becoming aware of the distraction. When you have become aware of the distraction and you have a feeling, you don't have to confirm it. It does not have to be a confirmation. But when you have got a feeling inside you that somebody is stopping you to move to the next level, you want to go to school, they don't want you to study. You want to do this, they don't want you to do it. You want to go start up your own shop, they don't want you to start up your own shop, because even sometimes you may find that you are working for them. And they are thinking if you go out and you start up your own shop or your own store or whatever it is, or your own clothing line or whatever it is, there's so many things you can do. They are believing when you do whatever it is you want to do and you're thinking for yourself, you are going to be much more powerful than them and you are going to supersede. You are going to exceed whatever it is they are doing and you're going to be better than them. So most of those cases, a lot of individuals, they will get you trapped and they will keep you trapped because they want you to be in that same position that you've always been, and you work for them and you be under their service. So they'll be taking care of you, but indirectly, they are stopping you from growing and becoming your best authentic version. All the chosen ones you see, all the people you see doing big things in life, you can talk with them if you know them. If you don't know them, you can go and read about their biographies and their stories. All those individuals, they will tell you at some point in time they made a decision and they jumped out of the box. Any great person you see on this universe, they're going to tell you a similar story that at some point in time they made a decision. They took their power back from their parents. They took their power back from their partners. They jumped out of the box. They went on a lonely journey and they started growing spiritually, and they have at the end of the day achieved their goals and become their greatest versions. But there's a beginning of their story, and there's always in the beginning a story of somebody who didn't want them to succeed, who didn't want them to grow, who didn't want them to move to the next level. So you may be a person out there who has started your journey. You may be somewhere out there. You have started making moves. But then you're looking around you, it's like people are fighting around you. You know what I mean? Your family is starting to fight with you. You have started making moves. Yes, it may not look like big moves. It may not always look like big moves. But you have decided to start doing something for yourself. And then at the very moment people notice, those guys who have always been with you, your team around you, the people who have always known you for a long period of time, the very moment they see that you've started doing something unique about yourself, that is exactly when the criticism is going to begin. And that is when you're going to know who the toxic people have always been. Now, I'll give you a test. I'll give you guys something very simple to test this. For the most of you who have found whatever it is you want to do, it could be your life path, it could be your purpose, it could be something you're interested in doing, it could be something you've decided to start up as an individual to grow you and move you to the next level. I want to look around you. Just turn your head and look around you and see the very first people. It could be the first or the second one. The very first people who are going to come and criticize your journey, those have been your biggest haters. And it is also going to take you by surprise that those are going to be the people that you have always known in your entire life. They have always been a part of you for your entire life. But the very moment you decide to do something for yourself, something that they do not even expect and they didn't even think you'll ever do, the very moment you take that decision, they are going to come around and start criticizing you. So you pay very close attention to those individuals. The very individuals who decide to come around and tell you all kinds of things. Oh, you know, you're going the wrong way. Why did you leave your job? Why did you stop doing this? Why did you stop doing that? You know, you should go like this. You should go this way. Now they're going to come around and give you advice. But before you started your journey, nobody was speaking. Everybody was quiet because you were in your comfort zone. So when you're in your comfort zone, you also make other people comfortable. That's the reason why they call it comfort zone, because you are making, first of all, you are comfortable, and you're also making people comfortable because you are in a place where they can control you and you can be under control. But when you decide to jump out of the comfort zone, you start to become uncomfortable. And you have always got to understand, chosen ones, it is going to be shaky. Yes, it will be hard. Sometimes you might even want to feel you want to give up. Because the journey of evolution, I've always mentioned it, the journey of evolution, it requires a lot of guts. You have got to make very, very big decisions. And sometimes they're going to take a toll on you. It will look shaky, it will look foggy. You don't have to see where you're going. But as long as you make that decision, God is going to stand with you and going to move you to the right direction. So guys, that being said, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I want to know if there's anybody on this channel who is starting their journey and they're getting a lot of critiques and things like that. The only thing I want to tell you and I want to give you in this video is that you have got to know how to let go. Letting go is the key for you to pursue and become your greatest version and pursue your dreams and become that person you came here to be. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Love and blessings, guys. I'll get back in touch with you in my next video. Bless. There's more signing out.